Hi, this is Matt in Kotaki Falls near Nikko in Japan. And this is part 4 of this series of video about blockchain. So last time we talked about the 4 functions of a Bitcoin node. So this time I'm gonna talk about how those nodes which don't trust each other, how can they establish a consensus, how can they agree on one single thing? So in the case of Bitcoin, how can they agree on the state of one single Bitcoin ledger? How does it work? This is the topic of this video. So when we talk about consensus, what does it mean? It sounds a bit abstract. What is it? So all we want to say is that all the nodes of the network are going to agree on the validity of the contract. In the case of Bitcoin, what is the contract? In the case of Bitcoin, the contract is the transfer of ownership of funds from one person to another. So for instance, Barnabe sends money to Eleanor. This is a contract. This is a transfer of ownership. In order for Eleanor to be able to spend her money, the network has to recognize the validity of the contract. So for Bitcoin, the transactions would become valid and accepted by the network once they've been added to the ledger, once they've been added to the blockchain. When that is done, then there is consensus among the network about the status of the blockchain and about the validity of this transaction. And that means that at that point, Eleanor, who received the money from Barnabe, is able to spend her money. The contract is recognized and the contract is enforced. Okay, so what about mining? Well, the second part of the consensus has to do with mining, which is really preparing the transactions to be added to the blockchain. So the special nodes, the miners, what they do is that they just receive new transactions, they aggregate them into blocks, and they forward those blocks to the rest of the network. Then when other nodes receive those new blocks, they will simply take them, validate them, and add them to the blockchain. And at that point, the transactions inside those blocks become legit. They become part of the consensus. However, when they do that, the miners have to solve something that's artificially hard. They have to solve a proof of work algorithm. And this activity they have to do, which is hard to do, but easy to verify by other nodes. This is really just to pick the mining nodes at random to ensure that no one node is having the control of producing those blocks.